they're not just like us. Something happens when you reach a certain level of wealth. The jets become private, the apartments become penthouses, and the parties get real epic real fast. Here are the secret parties billionaires don't want you to know about. In the hanky-panky...
Hey, but I know a lot of y'all go to them parties. Hey, shit.
Filled parties of Silicon Valley, dinner comes first, usually prepared by the host to avoid the prying eyes of cooks and cleaners. Social media is strictly forbidden for obvious reasons. Then the drugs come out. MDMA seems to be the top choice, although it's far from the only offering. The guests break off into groups of 2, 3, or more, usually for cuddle puddles, a cute way to describe a gang of groping millionaires and billionaires. From there, things get really freaky. The mostly male bigwigs of Silicon Valley have these drug-fueled love parties on the regular, bringing in a bevy of young women from anywhere they can get their hands on them. And get their hands on them they do, often with their wives and girlfriends right beside them. These men tend to be the wealthy tycoons behind some of the biggest brands in the world. As Emily Chang, author of the book Brotopia, describes it, they like to treat these parties as extensions of their world-changing professional philosophies by overturning traditions in their private lives. In the end, that means a boatload of hookups in private mansions, estates, and yachts the world over. You won't find a lot of Carvel ice cream cake at a billionaire's birthday party. Even Jay-Z and Beyonce dropped $200,000 on their daughter Blue Ivy's first birthday. Businessman Ronald Perlman likes to celebrate his on a 188-foot yacht in the warm waters of St. Bart's, often flying in famous folks like Barry Manilow to sing him happy birthday. Retail tycoon Philip Green once surprised 100 of his friends with a last-minute trip to the Maldives for his 55th. And that's nothing compared to Joe Lowe, the Malaysian billionaire who turned his 31st birthday into the biggest bash Las Vegas had ever seen, even though no one was quite sure who he was. Lowe built what looked like an aircraft hangar on a vacant plot of land and then filled it up with some of the world's biggest stars. Leonardo DiCaprio, Kanye West, and Kim Kardashian were there, along with a Ferris wheel, carousel, circus trampoline, and cigar lounge. Jamie Foxx hosted with performances by Britney Spears, Q-Tip, and Chris Brown. To end the night, a giant fireworks show exploded over the Nevada desert. Henry Nicholas, the founder of the tech company Broadcom, turned a warehouse in California into a never-ending adult fantasy room. The personal pleasure pad was reportedly stocked to the brim with cocaine, meth, and ecstasy, along with cutting-edge technology, making it the ultimate spot to hang with his friends and an endless...
You know that coke can blow like weed. That motherfucker some coke mountain. I mean, I wouldn't know shit about it. Comment below.
This rotation of ladies of the night. And when that wasn't good enough, Nicholas allegedly hired a construction team to covertly connect the place to his home through underground passageways. This shouldn't come as a shock to the folks who know anything about him. He used to secretly spike his colleagues' drinks with ecstasy, and he once smoked so much marijuana on his private plane that the pilot was forced to put on an oxygen mask. Unfortunately, at least for Nicholas, it all came tumbling down when he was arrested for his Caligula-esque lifestyle, along with a laundry list of securities fraud. He was acquitted of all charges, but his rap sheet still isn't a great look for him. The Cannes Film Festival is a lot of things, from a glamorous party to an over-the-top trade convention. Hollywood heavyweights cut deals and schmooze with their favorite movie stars. But for the working girls who fly in, it's a bit of a gold mine. Thousands of women flock to the fest every year, from high-end call girls charging in the thousands to streetwalkers plying their trade for $50. But find the right John and you can hit it big. Some of the women have been reportedly known to make $40,000 a night. According to a Lebanese businessman who described the scene to the Hollywood Reporter, there are about 30 or 40 luxury yachts in the bay during the festival each year. Each boat is filled with about 10 women plus drugs and alcohol. And apparently, this has all been going on for the past 60 years. The 2012 Kappa Beta Phi dinner, a secret gathering of Wall Street royalty, began with the address, "Good evening, exalted high council, former grand swipes in waiting, fellow Wall Street Kappas, and worthless neophytes." The dinner was designed as an ultra-exclusive financial community fraternity at the dawn of the Great Depression. Kevin Roose, author of the book Young Money, described it as a sort of one-percenters friars club. It's a chance for some of the richest men in the world to shut the doors and let loose. It may be the only place you can see literal billionaires perform sexist and homophobic skits and sing lame song parodies about how rich they are. As Ruth put it, here were executives who had strong ideas about politics, society, and the work of their colleagues, but who would never have the courage to voice those opinions in a public setting. Roos snuck into the 2012 festivities, and when he was discovered, none other than Wilbur Ross acted as a one-man bouncer and dragged him out. The black-tie dinner isn't for prying eyes.
It sounds like something Occupy Wall Street would invent if they wanted people to hate bankers even more.
Burning Man may be full of trust fund kids and millionaires, but it's always gone out of its way to shun showy signs of its own wealth. Not so for Further Future, the offshoot festival designed for and by the uber wealthy. If you've always wanted to be a burner, but also have access to top-notch lavender lattes, this is the spot for you. Its website lists unabashed luxury as one of its primary goals, and its guests won't be disappointed. Beyond the VIP fencing sit Airstreams and lunar palaces going for thousands of dollars per night, often fully staffed with personal valets and private chefs. If that's not good enough, Nobu offers $250 a seat dinners, or you can just take part in something called a smudging aura cleansing. Saline and vitamin transfusions are available, and there's a beer and foie gras torsion tasting. Dressed in the steampunk futurism style that's the official aesthetic of the festival, entrepreneurs and tech billionaires mingle, cutting deals between wellness panels. So let the burners eat cake. This is where the powerful come to play. As Mel Brooks once said,
It's good to be the king.
in Saudi Arabia, it's good to be one of the kingdom's 10,000 princes, flush with cash and a lack of concern for their family's oppressive rules. Why else would a deeply religious theocracy look the other way as its royal class hosts decadent parties, breaking every law in the books? One Saudi prince named Faisal is a second-tier cadet prince, which is about as far from the throne as you can get, but he still enjoys all the perks and privileges of princehood. His epic 2009 Halloween party, whose details were revealed in a leaked diplomatic cable, is still the talk of the town. Alcohol was plentiful at the party's bar, despite being prohibited by Saudi law and custom. There were also plenty of working girls among the guests, which is allegedly not uncommon at such parties. A guest list determined who made it inside the exclusive affair. The scene resembled a nightclub with alcohol, dancing, a DJ at the turntables, and guests in costume. It's a good thing Saudi Arabia just lifted its ban on female drivers, so that next time Prince Faisal can invite even more single ladies. According to a spokesperson for Bohemian Grove, the mysterious annual retreat of political power players in Northern California, the club is nothing more than a chance to share a passion for the outdoors, music, and theater. But then again, this is where the early planning for the Manhattan Project took place, so it might not be all fresh air and camp songs. No outsiders really know for certain what this place really is, but when former President Bill Clinton was asked about it, he said,
"That's where all those rich Republicans go up and stand naked against redwood trees, right?"
Spy magazine reporter Philip White.
Yeah, his house is butt naked somewhere in them motherfucking woods somewhere. One of them parties.
Managed to sneak into Bohemian Grove back in 1989 and then reported on the handful of rules he encountered. Basically, they were don't do business, don't pee on the trees, and always be drunk. Only the last rule was strictly enforced, though. Inside the campgrounds, he found powerful men making powerful decisions over copious amounts of alcohol. In one notable bit of Bohemian Grove history, in the summer of 1968, Ronald Reagan reportedly agreed not to primary Richard Nixon as the two mingled there. At the 2018 President Club charity dinner at London's Dorchester Hotel, host Johnny Gold declared, "Welcome to the most un-PC event of the year." That may actually be an understatement. Supposedly a fundraiser for a variety of English charities, the real purpose of this men's-only gathering seems to be a bit more nefarious. British power players from the worlds of finance, politics, and business gather every year to throw their money around, imbibe, and leer at the scantily clad hostesses. In fact, that last part seems to be the main purpose of the party. Hostesses are hired based on their looks and then ordered to wear black underwear to better match the skimpy outfits they're given upon arrival. Once their phones are confiscated, they're given drinks to loosen them up and then paraded out for the men to gawk at. This was reported by Madison Marriage of the Financial Times, who went to the dinner undercover. Hands are slipped up skirts, bottoms are pinched, Drunken men dive in for kisses and ask women if they're actually sex workers. The bathrooms are even monitored and the women are timed to make sure they don't just go and hide. Keep in mind that this is a charity event with prizes including lunch with former London Mayor Boris Johnson and the proceeds going to places like a prominent children's hospital. In the wake of the Times report, future iterations have been canceled. When you're a billionaire, you don't take no for an answer, especially not when it comes to your wedding. That's how Napster creator Sean Parker found himself among the redwoods of Big Sur, California back in 2013, celebrating the most lavish wedding this country's ever seen. No expense was spared. Over months, crews built an artificial pond, a bridge, rock staircases, fake stone castle ruins, and a 20-foot tall wrought iron gate with the couple's initials. The costume designer for the Lord of the Rings movies created Tolkien-themed outfits for all 364 guests, including Sean Lennon, Emma Watson, and California Governor Gavin Newsom. Bunnies were handed out to cuddle with. Animal furs were draped on chairs and full beds. Pigs were roasted on a spit, and Sting sang in front of a 9-foot-tall wedding cake. It was said to cost between $5 million and $10 million. But then the bad press set in, and the legal issues started. One website called it an eco-wrecking wedding, and Parker was forced to write an apology. The wedding was hosted at a luxury hotel whose owners had failed to apply for the appropriate permits. But billionaires don't get in real trouble, not for long at least. Parker paid a fine and agreed to design an app for California as restitution. Check out one of our newest videos right here, plus even more grunge videos about your